Hey, 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 beautiful souls. Kristen Lee, aka Super K here. And I just wanted to come to you today to talk about activating the heart's frequency and the power it has to get us out of that survival mode into soulful living. And this came to my mind to talk about today because it was part of my vibe shift workshop that I had. And she had voice messaged me and saying, Kristen, I was having all these great highs, but something came up and I'm really feeling, in survival mode, finances, money. I don't have money for rent. I don't have money for my car payment and I don't know what to do. And so I suggested to her to get back into the vibe shift method breathwork, which focuses on the heart frequency. And so by getting her start and putting in that loving intent serves us and breathing through it. Our breath is what we come into this world with. We're given this gift from God, this breath, and then when we leave this world, that's the last thing that we have is that last breath. And so by utilizing the breath to get into that heart frequency, it's so powerful because she was saying that on Sunday, on Easter, she was great. And then the next day, obviously all these bills show up and she was just in angst. And then all of a sudden, 2 days later, she's like in this huge low and she shifted into that heart frequency, did the breath work. And then all of a sudden, a friend pays for 2 months of her rent, pays off her bills, and God divinely put the right people and opportunities in place to answer those prayers that she was hoping to have received. And when we get into this heart frequency, the power that this heart frequency has is beyond what our minds can even comprehend. It is what we would call magic. However, it's the reality that we live in and that we're supposed to experience every single day. However, through the way the world is today, we've come so far off of our natural frequency that creates that peace, love, and harmony and joy in our lives. But when we understand how to get into that heart frequency and focus on the heart, and it can be as simple as closing your eyes and visualizing your heart space, putting your hand on your heart, because where attention goes, energy flows. And just take a deep breath in, visualizing this warm, glowing color coming through your nose and all over your heart, kind of like honey going over down onto your heart. And just feel that loving feeling that you would feel for something or someone you appreciate or you're grateful for. Really feel that emotion in your heart. Try to get it to turn into like a generator, building up energy. And then breathe in for 5 seconds and slow exhale for 5 seconds. And do this for 5 rounds. And that starts activating your heart's frequency. Now, our heart has an electric magnetic field that permeates outside of our body up to 8 feet. Some people more, but the average is up to 8 feet. And it allows us to have this bubble like a magnet that attracts the desires of our heart as it. So heart frequency is feeling that gratitude, joy, happiness, excitement, gratitude, appreciation. Feeling that now before it has already happened. And that's the thing, is we don't believe in the unseen as we should. It says in the Bible, believe in the unseen as if it is seen. And we doubt. We have little faith. And all it takes is faith the size of a mustard seed to actually activate this universal law, one of these God principles. We are divine sparks of the Creator. And that energy is within us. The change we seek is within us. And we need to step out of that worthiness and into the worth that we know we are and may have just forgotten, to bring about this heart frequency. And when you start doing this, and again, it doesn't always happen instantly. She had been doing this breath work for over 30 days. So she had built up this energy. She's been doing the vibe shift method, and it built up the energy that can shift her fast. Again, some people, they have enough of that gratitude in their heart that it love frequency, and finding points every day to be in this. When you are in this frequency, it shifts your reality to a higher timeline. And so we need to get out of survival. And if you're like, I've been struggling for years, Kristen, nothing's going to change. Well, the reason why it's been like that for years is because your energetic blueprint has been the same for all those years. You haven't done anything to shift that energetic blueprint. And once you do, it all changes and it ends up coming into a place where you end up attracting everything that you're resonating. And it ends up pulls in everything that you're vibrating at. And if your vibration has been the same, your blueprint has been the same and you haven't shifted it, because your brain and your heart speak together, heart and brain coherence. And if your brain's constantly speaking the same false limiting beliefs to yourself, it's going to create the same blueprint, the same frequency, and it's going to attract you the same thing like Groundhog's Day. In order to shift that vibration, that frequency around your biofield, this invisible life force energy around us, you have to change something. And the first way to change it is through breath work. Another one is through heart and brain coherence. We need to get in that coherent state of joy more than we are not. I found when I am in that heart and brain coherence, just feeling joy and gratitude, like, oh, I'm walking around right now and these beautiful flowers in front of me over there, and I can smell them. So I'm breathing in that beautiful flower smell. I'm grateful that I have my senses. And just being my two legs to walk, my eyes to see, my ears to hear the birds chirping, even just in your everyday life, pay attention to the beautiful things. Like, these are so beautiful and they smell so good. Oh my goodness. Oh, I could stay here forever. Good thing it's across the street from me. But we have to stay 51% of our day in that gratitude. And when you do this, 51% of your day, you end up overpowering that heavy, dense energy that makes you feel unworthy, unable, incapable. And by doing this, you raise your vibration, you change that heart frequency, and you build this magnet around you of gratitude. Well, what happens when you build this energy of gratitude? You end up attracting more, like attracts like. So you end up finding things. God only says yes, okay? I want to remind you guys that now. God only says yes. So when you ask not just with your words, you ask with your frequency, your vibration. What are you emanating? Fear, doubt, pain, shame, guilt, grief, joy, gratitude, peace, harmony. When you're resonating at that, you get more of. So in order to shift your life out of survival into soulful living, you need to shift stuff. It's conscious cliff notes. A lot of spiritual truth that is not out in the open. You know, I haven't worked in 3 years. I have dedicated myself to knowing thyself. I had this, divine download, this soul awakening to remember who I was. So I said, you know what? I have to break the patterns of this world. Romans 12:2 came to me in a vision. It said, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And that is when you'll test the true and pleasing will of God. So I did that. And I've taken 3 years now of just spending time, no 9 to 5, no sitting at my computer, literally out in nature, communicating, talking to people, being in silence, meditating, working on different holistic modalities to work on myself, work on my shadows, getting to know thyself. And since I have done this, I have opened doorways, or watched doorways open for me, mountains moved, because I have raised my vibration. I'm not stuck in that 9 to 5 rut. And I believe this could be by design, where we end up getting pushed into working to make a living, to survive, where it ends up taking us away from our natural gift. How have I been able to not work in so long and still pay for 2 pieces of property and my bills? My bills are like $5,000. Do this. Money finds me. Crypto has been amazing. So unfortunately, I've been cashing out crypto, but system where my work comes from my heart. My work comes from holding the vibration of peace, and money seems to find me. I just, yesterday, I got a big thing in the mail for my health insurance. I was like, oh boy, what am I going to have to, what's this? I opened it up, added up, it's $1,200 worth of checks. Reimbursements that I had no clue that were coming to me. My husband's chiropractor, we got a reimbursement for, from blood tests, or the dermatologist. Because the dermatology, I have great insurance, where if there's money left over, they pay it to me. So $1,200 I got back yesterday that I didn't even expect. Like, that's what happens, is when you feel that you are abundant, you're whole and complete just the way you are, you know you're worthy of money finding you. There's multiple ways. Maybe I have a client wanting a holistic modality done. and they'll come to me. I'm not searching for them. So yes, I serve, and then I take donations. So I have been able to survive living life on my terms. No one telling me where I have to be at what time or if I can take vacation. I've been taking for the last 3 years one vacation a month. I don't know why I was going to say two, because some months I have taken two. But going away with my family, enjoying life. And again, this is not going to happen for everyone instantly. I have dedicated 3 years of getting to know the powers of the field, the quantum field. And what we feed the field is what's fed back to us. Are you feeding it heart frequency, or are you feeding it fearful thoughts? Because both send out a frequency. The thoughts send out a frequency. The hearts is 60 times greater than the minds. So when you're in that heart coherence and you're grateful for all these little things, it's sending that signal out into the field, and it pulls back more. I have a really good book explaining this, and you can get it on Amazon under the Conscious Cliff Notes, is Feeding the Field. It talks about how we feed the field with every thought, every word, every emotion, every action, and it's there for good. And we have to clear anything that was negative in order to bring in the positive into our lives. And sometimes, like, you don't even realize it. You're like, oh, I've been positive for a few days, and then all of a sudden you have this negative thought. Well, whatever's stronger will prevail. And many times those negative thoughts, they replay over in our head more than those positive words of affirmation that we tell ourselves. And the words of affirmation aren't just meant to be spoken, they're meant to be felt. And that's the secret, where a lot of people will say affirmations all day long, every day, and go, nothing's changed. My life's not changing. Because it's not the words. Yes, in the beginning was the Word was God, the Word is God. And when you say I am, it's so powerful to bringing out reality. But when you put an emotion behind it, it amplifies it. And if you're saying those words of affirmation and you're feeling lack, you're going to get that lack, because that's the strongest vibration. Your words, you're just giving lip service. And when you don't take inspired action, then things don't happen either. You need to feel it, know it, believe it, have faith now, as if the unseen is seen, and you ask, you shall receive. These are so simple truths that we confuse it, and we get all boggled up into it, that we forget our divine nature, our divine power. The power is within us. God is within us. The kingdom of God is within. And when we stop living small, expecting someone to come and save us, then we are the change we want to see. And that's what's going to change humanity. That's what's going to awaken the heart's frequency of the planet again, to bring about peace, love, and unity. And it takes each one of us to do this. We can't do it alone. You know, they say one in heart coherence is greater than 1,000,000 not. However, it only takes 1% of the entire population to remember their divine nature. So through your journey, your spiritual awakening, you may have people telling you you're crazy, you can't manifest. What are you, God or something? Well, yeah, we all are. We're all divine fractals of the whole. And when we treat everybody as if they're Jesus, as if they are full of love and light and compassion, that's how we're going to change the world. And so that's why I created my Conscious Cliff Notes book series, and they're Cliff Note style books, so no book should take you more than an hour to read. They're anywhere from 50 to 75 pages of strong, powerful content that gets the message into your subconscious mind to remember. Because I'm not teaching you anything that your soul doesn't remember. Your human mind might not remember, and you'll go, whoa, this is so profound. Whoa, why didn't I think of this? It's so simple, yet so powerful. It's because your soul is remembering. We already have done this millions of times, some of us hundreds of thousands of times. We are evolutionary souls, and we come here to evolve our soul, to remember what our purpose is. And I believe our purpose is to remember that we are divine beings and full of love and light, that we are able to be that change, to bring all of humanity back into peace, love, and unity. And when we as humanity come back into wholeness, that's when we can actually become together as one with our brothers and sisters from the stars. Extraterrestrials are waiting patiently. They've been waiting for millions of light years. They've been waiting for us to awaken in order to come here and live in peace and unity, and know that we are able to literally bring heaven on earth. Meaning, what I believe is bringing all this knowledge that God didn't create us as the only intelligent beings. You know, the one way to connect is meditate to relate. When you meditate and you quiet your mind, meditating is more than just quieting your mind. You literally are multidimensional, and you can have multidimensional experiences where you're telepathically communicating with ETs. I started doing this 3 years ago, and it's profound. A lot of my book information comes from the extraterrestrials, from the Arcturians, from the Council of the Galactic Federation, from the Council. If you haven't researched any starseed or galactic families, then this might be gibberish to you. But it's all about bringing us back to peace, love, and unity, not only on this planet, but to infinity and beyond. Because imagine if we all just learned to love each other and stopped having war and fighting our brothers and sisters. We're killing our brothers and sisters. They're not, immigrants or illegal aliens. They have the same blood running through them. So if we can't get along with those that have the same color blood going through us, then how are we supposed to expect us to acknowledge or receive other beings that don't look like us? Are we going to follow the narrative of, oh my gosh, they're coming to take our planet, war, let's kill them? Or are we going to follow, wow, you know what? Why most pictures of aliens in the past, in like the 1900s, 1990s, I feel like, I would see them going, the peace sign. They want us to be at peace with each other first, and then bring peace on earth. It's possible for everyone. But we have to stop looking outside in the patterns of this world and getting so caught up in who said this and this person did that, because look at them as a mirror and have compassion for them. We don't know what they've gone through. They forgot who they are. And when you awaken and remember, you have more compassion in your heart to realize that that person in front of you is there on purpose. They came to give you a message, to show you something in you, either that needs to be ignited or something that needs to shine the light on, like a shadow. So every irk or, frustration that a coworker or a boss gives you, it's to teach you something within yourself, because we're a mirror of everyone. We're all fractals of the whole, guys. And when we end up going into the heart rather than the mind, we change the frequency of this planet. We end up we beat off see all these wires? This drives me nuts. This is affecting our nervous system. The way our nervous system and biofield resonate. And the EMF towers, don't even get me started. Those mess up our nervous system, and this is why, if you look, they've done studies that from the time that cell phones, the iPhone came out, I think it was 2007? I could be wrong on the date. Don't quote me, but the picture, the graph was from 2007 of showing teens, like more teens were getting phones. And when those phones came out and everybody started using them as computers rather than just talking phones, it has the same bar chart going up of depression in teens. Same exact trajectory. As more users, more depression came up. That EMF is destroying us. It's taking away our divine nature. Yeah, we feel connected. However, we are more disconnected than we ever have been. Our biofield and nervous system is resonating at a frequency that is not natural to humans. It's detrimental. And this is how we start aging. When you take time away from Wi-Fi, time away from technology, like I did 3 years ago when I stopped doing online marketing and I was away from my computer. I was in front of my computer for like 12 to 16 hours a day. It was ridiculous. My nervous system was so used to that too. When I stepped away, that's when the miracles started happening, because I started harmonizing my frequency to nature, to trees, to the Schumann resonance of our planet, and that's what elevates your consciousness. If you feel down, depressed, low, energetic, you need to get out in nature and become one. We are one with the earth and one with the divine. The earth is part of me as you are part of the earth. And we have to remember this and get back to loving our earth, back to life. Because if we don't, we are only going to destroy our earth and destroy ourselves. And it all starts with looking within, not blaming someone else for what they've been doing wrong, but looking within at what we can be the change to start feeding that field, love, peace, and harmony. All right, guys, I'm going to get off my soapbox and ranting, but please join me on this journey of spreading more love and light. And let go of those small things. Let it go and let God. And when you do, and you follow in faith, knowing it will be done, and don't fear, like as if you plant that seed, that desire, don't start picking it back up. Don't start pulling at that, seed. It will never germinate. You got to have faith. Just like if you place an order on Amazon, you have faith. You don't think about it every day. It's like, is it going to come? Is it going to come? Is it going to come? You know, in 2 to 3 days, it's at your doorstep, sometimes sooner. Same with God. You're always heard in divine timing, and it will happen. Just don't keep picking that seed. All right, guys, have a blessed day, and I'll catch you later.